All right, let's get to one guy that is coming in, Jarvis Landry. I teased it saying that we had a guy step into a Jaguars uniform a season ago that had been out of football when he lined up at the line of scrimmage. It was basically 22 months between games. We're talking about Calvin Ridley stepping away from the Atlanta Falcons, went away from the game, got suspended for gambling, was out, and then came back. Trent Baalke signs him, brings him in. We know what he did. Over 1,000 yards, 8 times in the end zone. Did a lot of good things. And then they couldn't re-sign him. He goes to Tennessee. They guaranteed him $50 million. So I'm sure Jarvis Landry's sitting over on the sideline. He was out of the football for this past year going, you know what? I wouldn't mind stepping back in. 31 years of age. What do you think?
Yeah, well, listen, every player goes through it. When you retire or I'm not going to say retire, well, when the NFL doesn't want you, you still feel like you got meat on the bone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you like to go back and, nibble a bit or two. And, and he didn't go out on his own terms, so to say. He got injured. Nobody picked him up. And then you still have that hunger and that desire to play ball. So, I mean, I commend him, for coming back. It's not easy. I mean, he was blessed to have the Jaguars welcome him into a camp so they can get a little taste of what he got. And I'm sure he should do well against rookies. I mean, he's a 5-time All-Pro. You know what I'm saying? He should do well.
He was a catch
machine.
Yes,
absolutely. So, I mean, he should do well. I mean, you're talking about a 5-time Pro Bowler. So, I mean, if he still got the juice, we'll see.
So, the way it's being reported, Tom Pelissero is the guy who put it out there, that he will be part of the upcoming rookie camp, 31 years of age, gone this entire last season, did have a tryout with the Indianapolis Colts in mid-December. Landry played 9 games in 22 with the Saints, finished the season with the ankle injury. We were talking about it during the break, that basically was the thing that set him back. You want to talk about 2 significant injuries, ankle injuries for Saints receivers. Michael Thomas dealt with the same thing, basically didn't play an entire 2021 campaign. But anyway, here's a guy that can come back. I don't know how it's all going to play out for him, but he's trying to turn heads. He's trying to get someone to think, hey, I still got a little something in me. And when he had it going, you go back to his days in Miami and Cleveland, I'm telling you, every time he turned around, or every time he turned around, the ball was coming in his direction, he was catching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, my only concern with him is that the fact that it was an ankle, and you're talking about a guy who has to go in and out of his break. So, it's one thing to train, but then there's training and then there's football. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure that you can't simulate that. You can't simulate the breaks and the press and the guys. You can't simulate that. So it'll be very interesting to see how his body responds to it once he gets back.
Where's he going to play?
Well, he's looking for a spot on this team. He's going to be, I would think, a slot guy. You take a look at what he did.
No, right. I mean, actually, how's he going to get on the field? The guys ahead of him, he's going to be their 5th receiver.
Well, yeah, he's trying to make a team. That's what he's trying to do.
So you're just going to add him as a 5th receiver?
Well, he's just barely coming to rookie minicamp. He doesn't know whether he's got a job here or not. So he's just trying to get back in the league.
We could put him on the practice squad, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Gracious.
So listen to these numbers, all right?
All I'm saying is I would rather have the reps for guys like Cooks, for guys like Parker Washington. I'd rather have the reps for those guys. Yeah, I know it's a 90-man. I get it.
They got plenty of room right now. So he had 3,500-plus yards, 15 touchdowns, and a couple of Pro Bowls the last 4 seasons with the Browns. And so you take a look at the numbers, and if he is healthy, and he does have a clean bill of health as far as the ankle is concerned, this dude was a catch machine. All right, 4 seasons with the Dolphins, 3 Pro Bowl nods then, led the NFL in catches in 2017, had 112 grabs that year, and then they placed a franchise tag on him in 2018, traded to Cleveland, and then, like we said, had some pretty good numbers up there. So all this guy's trying to do is say, hey, what's your receiver room look like? And if you're looking at Devin Duvernay, is going to be considered one of the guys that's going to be able to step in and do some things in the receiving game for them, and then also be one of their main return threats. Nothing wrong with Landry saying, at least give me a shot.
Yeah.
Make a 90-man roster to start off.
Yeah.
And by the way, we had the Elijah Cooks and the Jacob
Are you saying he's like camp? If you're saying he's like camp legs, I'm fine with that.
Right, and I don't know whether he makes the team or not. Mm-hmm. But if you take a look at the depth chart of the wide receiver, and let's just look at it and say to yourself, okay, if a Tim Jones is going to keep making this team, why is he making this team? Because he's a great special teams player. Okay, Jarvis Landry isn't coming in to be a great special teams player.
Right.
But if he can come in and use some of that blazing speed, some of that machinery in running routes that he displayed when he was in the league, give him a shot.
Yeah. Well, outside of the game of football, the only thing I missed from the NFL when I retired was them checks.
You better believe it.
Hey,
that's the only thing you missed.
Let me ask you something.
Checks
but the thing is, you're talking about blazing speed. I mean, they allegedly have it now with Brian Thomas and Duvernay. Those are two guys, and Gabe Davis.
Oh, sure.
So I don't. Yeah, if it's just legs, you want camp legs, you want a guy running routes camps, fine. I don't care.
I like experience and accomplishment too. But I want, if you're like watching on YouTube, the MyBookie Digital Studio, and we looked at Leon, and what'd you say about that check? Did you see that big smile?
Yeah, I missed those checks.
Yeah. And when did you retire?
I retired 2002.
Yeah, what age?
I was 32.
Okay, so he's 31, still trying to grab one more if he can.
Yeah, trying to get one more.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And you can imagine what the check is now versus what it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
let me ask you something. Was it you missed a check, or was it, well, where am I getting my next check from?
A little bit of both.
Was the combination?
A little bit of competition.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my job at FIU, and I asked Don Strock, I said, "Hey Don, by the way, how much this pays to be the offensive line coach?" He said $30,000, and I was like, "What?" I said, "A year?" He said, "Yeah."
Yeah. I know you had to say, like, you said, like $30,000 a game. Okay, I'm good with that. No.
Oh, I went from $30,000 a game to $30,000 a year. Woo.
Oh, yeah.